She shouldn't even be on that stage, my mother-in-law whispered loudly behind me. My daughter froze halfway to the podium. The gym smelled like floor polish and warm popcorn from the snack table near the entrance. Folding chairs creaked as parents shifted to see what was happening. My sister-in-law leaned closer and added, "That award was meant for our grandson." My 9-year-old daughter, Lily, turned her head slowly and looked back at me. Her eyes were confused, hurt, searching. She held the small paper speech in her hand like it might protect her. The microphone squeaked softly as she stepped closer to it. Then the principal stood up from the front row. He raised his hand slightly and said, "Actually, before we continue, we need to address something first." The entire gym grew quiet. My name is Alyssa Bennett, and I'm 34 years old. I'm a single mom raising my daughter Lily after my marriage ended 3 years ago. The divorce was quiet but painful, the kind that leaves a hollow feeling long after the paperwork is signed. I work as the cafeteria manager at Lily's elementary school. It isn't glamorous work. Most days smell like tomato soup and fresh bread. My mornings start before sunrise, making sure trays are ready and the kitchen runs smoothly. But it allows me to be close to Lily. I see her during lunch. I watch her walk through the halls with her backpack almost bigger than she is. Lily has always been quiet and thoughtful. She notices things other kids miss. When she first started school, reading was hard for her. Letters blurred together. Words felt like puzzles that refused to fit. I remember late nights at our kitchen table. Flashcards spread everywhere, her small voice sounding out syllables while the clock ticked loudly on the wall. "Try again," I would say gently. And she always did. My ex-husband's family never really accepted us after the divorce. Their smiles became tight. Their visits became rare. They adored my nephew, the boy they always praised at every family dinner. He was the one they called brilliant. Lily rarely received that same warmth. Still, she kept trying. She studied harder than anyone I knew. Her elementary school graduation was supposed to be her proud moment. I wasn't rich or impressive, but I had something they didn't expect. I believed in my daughter more than anyone else ever had. If you've ever had to stand up for your child when others tried to tear them down, hit subscribe. Parents know how painful that moment can be. Share your story in the comments. I read them all. And if you believe kids deserve encouragement, not humiliation, click share. Now let me tell you what happened that day. The elementary school gym was full of noise and excitement. Blue banners hung on the walls. Parents held phones ready to take photos. Teachers guided rows of nervous students toward their seats. Lily sat in the second row wearing her small graduation gown. Her shoes tapped softly against the floor. When the ceremony began, students lined up one by one to receive certificates and small awards. Lily had been chosen for something special, the Most Improved Student Award. It recognized the students who fought through learning challenges and refused to give up. When the announcer called her name, Lily stood up slowly. Her shoulders were stiff with nerves, but I saw pride in her eyes. She walked toward the stage holding her speech. That's when my mother-in-law spoke. They must be lowering standards if she won something. Her voice carried farther than she intended. Parents sitting nearby turned their heads. My sister-in-law laughed quietly. "Our grandson should have gotten that," she said. "He's the real smart one." The whispers started spreading like ripples. One parent leaned toward another and asked softly, "Is that really her grandmother?" Lily reached the microphone. Her voice trembled. "I worked really hard this year," she said. Before she could continue, my nephew's father stood from his chair. "Participation trophies now?" he said with a sarcastic smile. The gym fell into an awkward silence. Lily looked down at the floor. Her hands shook slightly. Then the principal slowly stood from his seat at the front. My mother-in-law didn't stop. She leaned toward the woman next to her and said loudly, "This school gives awards too easily." Some of Lily's classmates shifted uncomfortably. I saw one girl whisper, "That's not nice." Lily's confidence was fading right in front of me. She tried to continue her speech, but her voice had grown smaller. My sister-in-law crossed her arms and spoke louder. "She's only getting attention because her mom complains." A parent 2 rows ahead frowned and looked back at them. Lily paused in the middle of a sentence. She looked toward me. Her eyes were asking a question. Should I keep going? I nodded slowly. But before she could speak again, my nephew's father began clapping loudly. "Let's hear it for the real achiever," he said, pointing toward his son. The tension spread through the gym. Teachers exchanged uneasy looks. My hands tightened in my lap. I wanted to stand up. I wanted to defend my daughter, but I knew causing a scene could embarrass her even more, so I stayed seated. Lily finished the last line of her speech quietly. Her voice nearly broke. Then the principal stepped forward toward the microphone. What my in-laws didn't know was that Lily's journey had quietly inspired something much bigger. Months earlier, after Lily fell asleep each night, I would sit at our kitchen table with my laptop. The house would be silent except for the hum of the refrigerator. I began writing about our experience, about flashcards and late-night practice, about how hard it was to watch your child struggle. I started a small parenting blog. At first, only a few people read it. Then more came. Parents from different cities shared their own stories. Children with reading struggles, families fighting through learning challenges. The blog kept growing. Hundreds of comments, then thousands of followers. But I kept Lily's identity private. I never used her name. I never shared our town. I wanted to protect her. What I didn't know at first was that the school principal had been reading those posts too. He recognized the story. The determined child. The cafeteria manager mother. He figured it out long before graduation day. And he had prepared something special. Something my in-laws never saw coming. My ally that day was Rachel. She's my ex-husband's cousin. The quiet one the family always called strange. Rachel never liked the way Lily was treated. She sat beside me during the ceremony and whispered, "They're going too far." Months earlier, Rachel had spoken privately with the school counselor. She told them Lily faced constant comparisons with her cousin. Rachel believed Lily deserved recognition for her effort. As my in-laws continued whispering criticism, Rachel stood up quietly. She walked over to a teacher and explained what was happening behind us. The teacher's expression turned serious. Moments later, the principal was notified. Meanwhile, my in-laws looked satisfied with themselves. My sister-in-law folded her arms and said, "People should hear the truth." They believed they had already embarrassed us enough to silence us. But the principal was now standing directly at the podium. The microphone echoed softly as he spoke. "Before we continue," he said calmly, "I'd like to clarify something." The gym fell completely silent. He turned toward Lily. "You have worked harder than most students I have seen in 20 years, he said. Then he faced the audience. "Some people believe awards should only go to students with the highest grades." He paused and looked around the room. "But this award is about perseverance." He began explaining Lily's progress, how she struggled with reading in first grade, how she stayed after school to practice, how she asked teachers for help when things felt impossible. Then he said something unexpected. Many parents across the country know this student's story. The projector screen behind him lit up. Screenshots appeared, blog posts, stories about a determined child learning to read. Parents in the audience began whispering. The principal continued speaking. These posts helped teachers understand the struggles of many students. He looked toward Lily again. This student did not just improve, she inspired hundreds of families. Applause started slowly. Then it grew louder. Teachers stood up. Parents followed. Rachel leaned close and whispered, "They finally see her." My in-laws sat frozen in their chairs. Lily wiped her tears, and for the first time that day, she smiled. The applause filled the entire gym. Lily stepped back to the microphone. This time her voice was steady. "Thank you," she said. After the ceremony, parents came over to congratulate her. Teachers told her she was an inspiration. My in-laws slipped out of the gym quietly without saying much. Rachel hugged Lily and said, "You deserved every second on that stage." Later that evening, Lily and I drove home together. The sunset painted the sky soft orange through the windshield. She looked at me from the passenger seat. "Mom," she asked softly, "people really read our story?" I smiled. "They believed in you." Lily leaned back in her seat and stared out the window, and I could see something had changed. The people who tried to humiliate her were never the ones who mattered. Have you ever seen a child treated unfairly by family or others? Moments like that can hurt deeply, but they can also reveal strength. Share your story in the comments if you have ever had to stand up for your child. Subscribe to join our supportive community. Click share to help this story reach others who need it. Your story has power. If you felt a connection to mine, please subscribe and share your journey in the comments. Every share helps empower someone else. Thank you.